All right.
We're here. It's on.
Wow. It's days like this, the filter is a little weird.
Whoo! Got here, put my stuff down, immediately spilled water all over my brain.
There you go.
Just instantly.
That's
everywhere. So, good start. We're fired up. We're wet.
Mm-hmm.
Normal stuff.
Yep. Little wetness. Nothing
Got to
wrong with
cool
a
the
little
fire
wetness.
down somehow.
The fire. The fire in my loins. From a regular season game.
It's so good.
Let's see how we feel. Let's just fucking see how we feel.
I was telling CJ, Val said to me, she's like, what's wrong with you? Because I was like jumping and yelling. She hasn't seen me like that in quite a while, I think.
Whew. Okay.
Another
We're
minute.
taking screenshots. We're looking at the stats.
Yeah, I have so many notes. So many notes. I have like Mike style notes.
Good.
Screenshots of tweets and
Composed emails that you discard as drafts and then
that's right.
Look back at later.
I'm a notepad. I'm a note guy or whatever. Is it notepad? Is
docs or notes?
Notes. Well, docs for this, but notes for notes to myself.
Right. Pretty universal.
Stuck in my head. This is great.
What'd you say?
I have the song stuck in my head.
I almost started. That's how excited I was. I almost started yelling for the song.
Oh.
Yeah, I fucking hate the song. But
no, you don't hate the song. You can't hate the song.
I hate
the
song.
It is impossible to hate the song.
All right. Let's do it. This very important Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook. I can't even talk. I'm so fucking riled up by using promo code RTRS and brought to you by Kornblau Kornblau, the official law firm of The Process, Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. And Stateside Urban Craft Vodka and Black Label Bourbon, the official sponsor of the Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe, statesidevodka.com. On the show today.
What?
The Paul Reed game, the Tobias Harris game, the Shake Milton game, certainly not the Ben Simmons game. So we will talk about all that. Also, Joel Embiid has a foot problem, which is
whatever.
Sort of a bummer. Yeah. Anyway,
whatever.
Before we get going, I did mention Stateside Urban Craft Vodka. They do have a Black Friday sale. $10 off the 1 liter Stateside vodka on Black Friday. I just got that information from higher ups at Stateside right before the pod. Higher ups. By the way, the Black Label Bourbon available. Surfside iced tea and vodka available. The vodka soda's available. But Black Friday, $10 off the 1 liter Stateside vodka. You got to be 21. Those are the rules, not just with Stateside, but with everyone. Statesidevodka.com. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Say the fucking name. Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who is wet but is happy nonetheless. Maybe it's both. Maybe they're the same thing. That is one Mike Levin.
Wow. Really, really nice. The exact kind of game that they would not win. That was a down the middle textbook fight hard without any of their good players and lose late after the Nets go on like a 19-0 run with like 4 minutes left. And it just didn't happen. It just never happened. It never happened. That was a full team win, a victory. Offensive rebounds tell the story. There's a couple things to tell the story. Offensive rebounds. Nets 4. Sixers 20.
Come
That
on.
simply doesn't happen. That is
No.
a dog of a win. That is a boat of a win. Doc gets no credit for it, of course. B-Ball Paul played the most minutes of his career.
And the best game of his career.
We've said that a bunch.
I
We
mean,
say that a lot because he has a lot of good ones.
That was a great game. And you know what? It was fucking because they won it. That little thing he did with like 5 minutes left
Totally fine.
is totally fine. I'm
Totally
glad-
fine.
Do you know what? I'm actually glad he did it.
Yeah,
I'm glad he did it.
for sure.
I'm glad he did it.
We can start with a lot of people. Let's start with Tobias.
Okay.
Let's start with
He
Tobias.
can stay. He can
Tobias
stay. He
has
can stay.
a very Tobias-y game
Yes.
when he's good, which is like mid-range, slow ISOs, 1 of 3 from 3. But he just hit like a bunch of shots, especially late. He looked really tentative early. He looked really like he was fumbling the ball a lot, rusty, like hasn't played in a little bit, and goes out with the ankle thing after he steps on Durant's foot, and just came back and had an incredible game. Like
He was playing the worst game of his season in the first half, I think.
yeah, which like understandably so, being that rusty after not playing, and now all of a sudden like, hey, welcome back. Nobody else is here. You got to be the best player on the team. Like, go ahead. And he just didn't seem comfortable, never did. And then what looked like an ankle sprain, and maybe we'll find out is an ankle sprain, and he's out for like another couple games because that's how
Whatever.
things go.
That's fine.
But he comes back out and just played great. I mean, got really hot. I thought they went a little ISO Toby a little early in the fourth quarter. It was like 8 minutes left, and Doc was like, we're not even going to consider running offense anymore. It's like, it's over. Offense done. But it really ended up being like less of an ISO Toby and more of a find whoever Joe Harris is covering and attack him, because then it went to Shake and he did the same thing. But man, I mean, great.
Honestly, my favorite thing about Toby was now when he was with the Clippers, there was a lot of like Toby pick and roll ball handler, which was none of this. It was all ISO.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing is even when he had a smaller guy on him, it was like he couldn't even, maybe it's because he was tired and the ankle and the hip, he couldn't even get position without the ball. Every like back to the basket started 23 feet away from the
Yes.
basket.
Yeah, it really did.
And he somehow like just look. I had a Toby thing planned for the pod. It's gone for today. He can stay. He can stay. It was a big game from Tobias Harris. He nutted up with the ankle. He got back in the game. He knew they needed it. This was a game that, honestly, earlier today, I had no juice for. I was kind of bummed we were doing the pod after it because with everybody out and it being the Ben Simmons game, no juice.
Yep.
Midway through the second quarter, it became the most important game of my life, and they had to win it. It couldn't break me. And Tobias Harris, I feel like, knew they had to win the fucking game and came back in the game. It was a big game for Tobias Harris. I don't know what to say. It was a big fucking game from Tobias Harris.
It's nice. It's nice for him in a way to be like, you know, he's gotten booed a ton. He's been, you know, the contract is talked about constantly. It's just nice in a game when he has changed the way he's played. He has been better defensively. He has been doing what they're asking him to do. And now it's like those instructions have changed in a big emotional game against this fucking guy. Mm-hmm. And he delivers and gets like big round of applause and gets to be gutsy. Like, when does Tobias get to be like gutsy and get to be like,
yeah,
have the like big man plays? And he hit a bunch of shots, and it was still, you know, it was the old Tobias, but it was at least, if we're going to do old Tobias, let's at least let him be making shots. And he was like hitting those leaners, hitting those little spins into the lane, getting his mid-range working. Grifted a couple fouls, which I love.
The one on Ben was great. The grift on Ben was great.
Yeah.
And this, to your point about it being like an old Tobias game, this is exactly the game if they lost. I would fucking obliterate him.
Sure.
Because of how he played, but he made the shots and they won the game. It was a gutty performance from one Tobias Harris, who I've never doubted in my entire life.
B-Ball Paul.
What a game from B-Ball Paul.
I mean, we've done this so many times.
But this time, this time and this situation, B-Ball Paul's had moments. He's like, this game was okay.
Here we go.
I know you said, we've said a lot, there was the best game he's ever played. But
because he's had several great games, and Doc is blind to it.
I think this was his best, most like in control game, like
normal
game. He was running offense. It looked like he except for the time when Ferg had to yell at him, he was in the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. He was running plays with people. He got big rebounds. He played great defense. But there was very few times, and there were moments, by the way, when it was him and PJ Tucker, who we will talk about, but it was him and PJ Tucker, and I was like, man, that would be fucking annoying to play against those two guys at once. It was the most under control B-Ball Paul game. It was an enormous game from him because I was hoping for something from Montrezl Harrell. He was fucking terrible. And I knew as soon as they didn't have Simmons on Harrell, and I think that's probably why they started Claxton, that it wasn't going to be a Harrell game. It was just a huge game from B-Ball Paul. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, he's excellent. He did, to your point, have the most, like, except for those two ISOs late. One was like a shot clock was winding down, and he was feeling himself. But the other one was just, no one's coming over to take the ball, so I'm doing something with it. But yeah, I mean, it was dribble handoffs. It was attacking the offensive glass. The Sixers, as I said before, finished 20-4 in the offensive rebounds. They were 13-2 in the first half, and that's just B-Ball Paul. Like, Embiid is not a guy that's going to, except for like in big moments in like playoff games or whatever, is not going to make a point to attack the offensive glass. They're also always accounting for him in a way that like a regular backup center that's not the focal point of the offense, they're not really thinking about as much. And Paul just has a knack for the ball, always, on both ends, everywhere.
That's his name.
That's his name. His name is the name of the sport and the device that is used to play the sport. And so if anyone has an advantage, he does. 19 points on 9 shots, 5 of 6 from the line. No three-pointers attempted, which is probably nice for Doc.
How many rebounds?
10 rebounds.
Wow.
19 and 10 in 31 minutes, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers, only 1 foul. He only had that foul in the fourth quarter. He played a full game without getting a foul, and a plus-minus of, did you see it?
No. What? Can I guess? Well, they won by what, finally? 11?
They won by 9.
9. I would say B-Ball Paul was a plus 10?
Plus 21.
Oh, come on! Come
plus
on!
21.
Victory tour.
Montrezl Harrell
this
minus 10.
This is the Paul Reed victory tour.
He's really good, and he's going to fuck up. And he made a couple mistakes in like transition, like not getting this guy a couple times. But like you watch how the other team plays offense when B-Ball Paul is on the court versus when Montrezl Harrell is on the court, and you can see their eyes just light up when it's like, oh great, Trez is playing a drop. I'm just going to walk into a pull-up jumper. I'm Kyrie Irving or Joe Harris or Patty Mills or Seth Curry, anybody, or Durant. Just like easy shit. And when Paul's out there, there's at least some level of length and anticipation. He was great, man. He was so good. He just did everything they asked him to do. He ripped the ball out from under Joe Harris a couple times, had a couple big blocks, like on whether it was, I think it was Seth Curry one time. He just got his hands in there everywhere, made the smart plays, made the right play. He's been rolling to the rim all year. All year he's been rolling to the rim. He like waves his hand a little bit. No one ever gives him the ball. He's been waving his hand. I would love to see like the percentage of times. Give me some statistics on. I'm not asking CJ to do this right now, but like when someone, Rich Hoffman, panicking. Sixers Adam, somebody,
yeah.
When B-Ball Paul rolls to the basket and waves his arm, prior to tonight, I would venture to guess that he gets the ball under 5% of the time.
Yeah.
It is never, ever, ever. And tonight they started giving him the ball. Shake had a couple nice looks to B-Ball Paul inside. Melton did. He's been doing it and finally got a couple opportunities off of rolls. It's really nice. I mentioned Shake, like he's starting to have a good rhythm with B-Ball, and I would love for that to become a reliable pairing. I remember,
wow, Shake and B-Ball.
Absolutely, give me that as like a bench 2-man game situation. I remember when I was at Summer League a couple years ago, I was interviewing Norvell Pell, former Sixer, process Sixer, even though it was afterwards, all-time process Sixer. And he was like, he was so excited about his screen and roll game with Shake and them having a pairing and a feel for each other. And I want that for B-ball, and I want that for Shake. So because Embiid's not going to do that really with Shake, and all the time it's Shake to Embiid with like a little bounce pass behind at the nail or whatever. And it's nice to start to think about, like, can we get that as like a bread and butter type play for the second unit as Shake is improving, as B-ball's getting more comfortable. And Doc is forced to fucking play him 31 minutes, the most minutes of his career. He was excellent. I'm almost certain that the next game Doc is going to play him like 4 minutes and like take him out after a minute. And like,
this guy
it's unbelievable.
Is busy during the week answering DMs and shipping out hoodies and still dominates during the week.
And he threw a 20-foot lob to Tobias Harris at one point, and it was a good pass, and Tobias muffed it. But like, could you imagine if he had thrown a lob from the 3-point line to Tobias Harris? I would have lost it. He was excellent. He was perfect. He needs to be playing. Like, we've done this. I've done this. I've staked my reputation. I've staked my mortgage on B-ball Paul. Like, everything of my life is slated. My marriage is going to be everything. I know B-ball Paul is good. I know he is good. I know he is at least a better option than Montrezl Harrell. He is absolutely the best Embiid backup, strictly backup, of his career. This has to be the regular thing. It has to be all the time. He's going to have bad games. That's what a backup center does. If he never had any bad games, he wouldn't be a backup center. He'd be starting for some other team. Anything. You have to let him play through this shit, Doc. I swear to fucking God. I swear to fucking God, man. If you let your ego and the Paul Reed Victory Tour get in the way of this, I'm going to lose my mind bi-weekly or twice weekly. Whatever we do this podcast, I'm losing it constantly. B-ball Paul must every time be there. Major minutes, regularities, not pulled out after he fucks up one time. Absolutely. Come on.
Okay. We had a Ben Simmons DraftKings same game parlay. It didn't hit at all, but it is well worth the trade. I thank DraftKings, our presenting sponsor, for working with me on the same game parlay. Even though it lost, it doesn't matter. It's worth every penny tonight. Love DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you are a new customer, bet $5 on a pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Everyone, as well, can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped up same game parlay. It's a regular same game parlay, stepped up same game parlay. Sixers win, even though we lost the Ben Simmons same game parlay. Good shit. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Place the same game parlay, combine multiple bets with which team you want to win, or rebounds, or points, or assists, whatever you want. And the more legs you add, the longer the odds are going to be, which means more you can win. Download the DraftKings app now. Sign up with code RTRS. Place a $5 money line bet pregame on any NBA team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code RTRS only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Okay.
B-ball Paul, if there's a way to sign him to like a 4-year deal right now, I would do it. Right now, immediately before it gets too expensive.
Sign to the Shake deal.
Give me like 4 years, like $16 million.
That's what I was going to say.
Lock him in.
Wow. You know, the Sixers have had quite a night when you and I are agreeing on the terms of the deal for the young Sixers role player who will never get that deal.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. God, Trez is so fucking useless on D. Unbelievable. I appreciate the ladder stuff. I love him for the ladder stuff. Be a petty piece of shit. Offer to fight
just hang
anybody.
Out
anybody's brother. Fight them all. That's great.
Guy.
But for the love of God, he cannot be in anyone's plans for anything with this team.
Okay. Do we do another Sixer? Do we do Simmons? What are we doing here?
Let's go to Ben. Give the baby his bottle.
Okay. So honestly, at what point? Okay. He looked like normal Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
I give him credit for looking like normal Ben Simmons because
you didn't think he'd play basketball again.
I didn't believe he'd play basketball, but I certainly didn't believe he would ever be normal Ben Simmons again. He looked like normal Ben Simmons tonight. However, you loser dickhead running around celebrating making a free throw and a layup while your teammates are celebrating making you a free throw and a layup. When you were here, everyone celebrated like the coach, like they put the student coach in the game at the end of it and hit a 3-pointer at the team's last game when you hit a 3. And still to this day, they're celebrating you like you are a child because you are incapable of being a normal basketball player. I am so glad we sent that dickhead away with a loss as he smugly smiled and took pictures with my fucking father and posted on the internet before the game. I cannot stand him. I can't stand him. I'm glad that he's not on the Sixers. I am happy for him that he meditates for 15 fucking seconds before every game. I'm happy that he has Candace Parker, Stan Van Gundy, be a weird one, slobbering all over him all game for just being a normal basketball player. I'm happy for all of those things. I'm so glad you're gone. Fuck off, you loser. Fuck off.
All broadcasts are always, especially national broadcasts, are always going to be pro player. They're not going to be like, this guy fucking blows.
But it was
this guy not doing shit,
but it was
and
enough.
he should have been.
It was
he
enough.
Gave up money.
It was enough. It was enough. By like minute 2 hour of it, it was enough. It was enough. Like, let's not ignore the last year and a half.
Totally.
You know, like, you guys had 2 good games. It's a nice story for a second. Let's just fucking. And the celebration over everything, the hushing, the crowd, the Jordan shrug after hitting 2 free throws. If you had an ounce of self-awareness and you were making fun of the entire thing, if that's who you were, I would totally accept it. I would much rather watch George Niang trash talk Kevin Durant than ever watch you again.
Yeah, I mean, I did think it was kind of funny.
And
it's hard to know what like his right reaction would be. If he was just like stoic and never did anything, would it be like, and just pretended he didn't hear it and gave like canned answers to press conferences and stuff?
He was good in the press availability before.
The press conference was pretty funny, the face that he made. I've never seen him make that face before.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, even before this game, like in the hallway where the scrum or whatever. I agree with you. I don't know what the move is.
Yeah, it's a losing proposition. I mean, he was here. He was just like Markelle, obviously a longer period of time with Ben.
Markel's a nice kid, though.
Very encouraged by everybody. Everybody was loving it. Everybody was defending him. Everybody for a long time. Like, that's the thing with that everybody always gets wrong, or the national media always gets wrong because they're barely paying attention, is that like it was many years of like rooting for this guy to do the thing that we're asking him to do, or to just please get better. Please get better. Please take ownership and like try to improve at certain things. And he never did. And then he like blamed them, and then blamed everybody else, and then blamed whatever, and then it was gone. And yeah, like I said on the last pod, like he still looks like the guy he was. He's not a different player. It did blow my mind. The first couple, the Nets jumped out to like a 10-2 lead, and like Ben's driving or in transition or semi-transition or something, and like they're helping onto Ben drives, and I'm throwing my couch out the window.
Right.
I'm jumping around like an ape. I'm
making
sounds I've never.
Shooting.
He's not going to shoot. You guys know it. There is an obsession. There is a horniness for helping in this fucking league among coaches generally, that is just mind-boggling to me. I'd rather help on a Ben Simmons drive when he's begging you to help so he can pass it to the open player, instead of just letting him try to take like a fadeaway hook shot from like 8 feet. Like, what are we doing? We saw that he was your teammate. You know it. You've had to have defended it. All he's asking for you to do is allow him to like gallop in transition and then help off of somebody so he can like hand the ball to Seth Curry for 3. Anything. Like, it's unbelievable that there's that. I think they adjusted for the most part, and so that's good. I was happy about that. But at the beginning when they did that, I lost my mind. And so, you know, I wouldn't. There's no one that I would help. Ben Simmons could have Stuart Little on him, and I would not help on defense. I would allow Stuart Little, to the mouse, to be clear, to try to defend Ben Simmons or see if he can go and get a bucket ISO. There's no reason to allow an open 3 to these excellent shooters. I don't care. And Ben still can't protect the rim as much as I've wanted him to be when he was here, to be a small ball 5 and spread it out and all that stuff. But like too many opportunities for. If I was a Nets fan, I'd be like, yeah, he can't protect the rim. He can't be the only big guy out there. I mean, Durant does a little bit, so he's get like beneficial
but
that
he's
way.
Not a center.
But he can't like help a little bit. It's a weakness, and I think Nick Claxton is just ultimately at this point a better player.
Oh, I love that. What a quote from you.
I love Nick Claxton.
And I agree with you.
Very high on Nick Claxton.
Well, he does two things. If you're going to play somebody as center, he rolls to the rim and he blocks shots. So like that's what you want.
And he rolls to the rim sometimes.
Yes.
He's been rolling to the rim, but a lot of times he doesn't. A lot of times he stands there.
And CJ, if you could get the 15-second TNT clip, but the two final things I'll say, and one of them came from Simmons. It's not just about the announcer. I think it was I believe it was Candace Parker who said, I asked Ben Simmons before the game, what it's going to be like playing in front of this booze. And he was like, are you kidding? They booed me when I was here. Bro, no, they really didn't.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's just a fucking lie.
I mean, like sometimes, once in a while, like Bryce Harper's gotten booed. Like plenty of people
once
get
in a
booed.
while, they booed Danny Green and Robert Covington a whole fuck ton more than you. Like
Tobias.
Everybody was so scared of booing you because you're so fucking fragile all the time. Nobody booed you because they were worried it was going to shake you. Like they were cheering you like you were a child in T-ball. And the other thing, and this is just like this is not a me thing, but this is like a national TV rant type thing. CJ, could you play this clip from TNT?
I was told that they have assured the Nets, the 76ers have, that they are prepared for anything to happen tonight. And that I also was told by a source in the building here that said there will indeed be an increased police presence both inside and outside of the building for tonight, just as a precaution. I was
Mike, I don't know if you heard, but like they are prepared in the building for any circumstance. I don't know what circumstances they would be prepared for. And there's extra police in the building like it's fucking January 6th or something. Like, what are we doing here? There's extra police. What are they going to do? All they did was boo every time. Honestly, the booing wasn't even...
I'm glad the cops are getting overtime to watch the game. Like, good for them. Congrats, man.
It was a great game,
What a
honestly.
nice one.
Yeah.
Nice game.
All right. So that's it.
Good use of funds. Just ridiculous. Everyone's such a fucking loser. The fans were great. I think it was a little tepid at the beginning because they were like, well, fuck, nobody's here.
Yes. Yeah.
Harden's out, Maxi's out, Embiid's out. Like, this isn't how we scripted this. And it turned out it was exactly what we wanted. That was a perfect beginning to end game for that to happen. It was great, man. That was a great win. We can keep going one by one of these other guys that all deserve a lot of credit.
I think this is a pod where we need to give everybody credit.
Ben didn't do anything in the fourth quarter again.
He disappeared.
He didn't do anything.
He disappeared. And he missed both free throws, by the way, in the second half.
I am upset that they didn't go to a hack situation.
Would have been great.
Quicker. I wanted it. I would have liked it.
There's a great tweet from Mike O'Connor earlier that Doc has to do it. Honestly, Doc should have done it for revenge's sake. After Doc, who I hate, don't hate, but Doc, who I don't like, stood up for him for the entire season, and then Ben just fucking obliterated him afterwards.
I mean, look, this is a great game. I was really worried they were losing this game because the Nets missed a ton of threes in the first half. Mm-hmm. I felt very endangered of like how much that was going to happen. And the Sixers couldn't. They missed so many bunnies around the rim, just like everybody. Obviously, Trez, PJ Tucker, we should talk about, who just can't hit jack shit right now. Tobias always misses a couple bunnies. Even a good Tobias game, he's still missing a couple, wide open 3-footers. But they hung in there. They hit enough shots. They got enough offensive rebounds. They did fight. They turned them over a couple times. Sixers, without a real point guard on the roster at this point, had 10 turnovers.
Well, by the way, like they pressed Shake Milton one time. Shake Milton couldn't get up the court, and they never did it again. Like we've known that Shake Milton can't handle a press in the backcourt for 3 years now, and they didn't do it again. So thank God, I think. So
Shake, let's go to Shake then. Like,
it was a good game from Shake.
It was a great Shake game, and
especially the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, 6 big buckets, the 6 big points at the end. He finished with 16 points on 14 shots, 1 turnover, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Hit a couple threes, went up confidently on those threes. That was big. He was just like really solid for a time when like Tobias wasn't quite there, it was like, oh, they need Shake to do everything. They need him like they rested him for like a minute and a half in like the first quarter and then the second quarter because they're like, buddy, you got to get back in there. We don't have anything else. He really is like, look, we talked about it last pod, like wondering if Shake can be effective as like a 15 to 18 minute a game stand in the corner guy and just hit shots when they come to and play defense. It's not quite who he is, and it's tough to make a living on a good team when you're not quite good enough to be like on ball and you're not quite good enough to be a role player off ball. But when they need him in games like this, he's really, really helpful. I wonder if he ends up going to like a more of a play-in team type and gets more opportunities, like in, doing what like Dallas isn't a play-in team, but like doing more Dinwiddie stuff and like getting the opportunity to like be more go one-on-one and do ISO stuff. He's really an interesting player. There's not that many guys that like handle the ball like him that like can decelerate and play at their own pace. He's like a funky 3-level scorer. Obviously not nearly as good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but there's like some similarities like visually watching them play. His step back's working. I'm really happy for him playing well. He doesn't get sped up. He hasn't been getting called for push-offs at all. I don't know how it happens, but it seems like he's always pushing off a little bit, but not like enough visibly to make the refs call it. But he gets space on those step backs and he's hitting it. And he was moving the ball well. I've been a little disappointed about like Shake as a passer over the years. I wanted him to develop a little bit more of that, and I kind of haven't seen it as much as I wanted to. But tonight he was really like seeing the court well and finding guys, and I love when Shake is a good game, man. I special place in my heart for guys who've been here for that long, and Shake and Korkmaz and stuff that's nice.
And for Shake, the form is still weird, but it does seem like he's a little more comfortable shooting again, right? Yeah. Am I crazy? Like,
no, I think so.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's almost like he purposely keeps his feet like more uneven than a normal than he used. I almost want to watch tape of him from his first year or two. Yeah. But he's hitting shots again, so that's good. Kornblau Kornblau is the official law firm of The Process. If you are injured in any way, you are only able to call one lawyer. If you're injured and for some reason they throw you in jail and you can only have one phone call, fucking call Kornblau. That way you can handle both things. Anyway, most personal injury law firms that you hear about, they're referral companies. They are not really law firms. The ones you see billboards for with that dipshit in Philly, and the ones that you hear ads for, the referral services, they're not really law firms. Kornblau Kornblau is a real law firm. When you call or when you email, you get a Kornblau. This guy is going to take care of you. Adam Kornblau is Kornblau. They've been in business like 40 years. Some of the best verdicts in southeastern PA. They specialize in medical malpractice, but any sort of personal injury, they are who you go to. Kornblau Kornblau. Injured at work, slip and fall, car accident. Think of another one. Hit with a bat by a stranger. Any of those things.
Normal stuff.
Kornblau Kornblau. And plus, he's such a good dude, Adam Kornblau, for our people. You have any legal question whatsoever, anyone at all, he's going to help you out. He's going to help you out. If you think you might have a case or you need some help, give him a call, shoot him an email, 215-576-7200, 215-576-7200. Ask for Adam, or email Kornblau, Kornblau, at kornblauandkornblau.com. Kornblau Kornblau, the official law firm of The Process. Can we talk about Niang?
Let's do it.
There's one thing that I've always loved about him is his relentlessness in talking shit every time he hits a shot.
Haven't had a guy like that in a while.
No. And tonight it was Kevin Durant that he would talk shit to. But to his credit, forgetting about the fact that he is a incredibly willing shooter and a good shooter as well, he is a crafty offensive player. He hit that layup tonight. Was it on Durant? Was Durant guarding him where he just sort of like threw it off the top of the glass?
Well, that was after Durant hit one on him. And then they started talking and laughing, and then went right next possession.
He is, in my opinion, not playable in the playoffs, but you need some players to get you through regular season
you're
games.
Getting there. You're getting there.
I'm not.
You're getting there.
Maybe tonight. He can play. He can play in the playoffs. Maybe tonight. if he is incredibly important. He is fearless. He is a great regular season player, and he has added some things to his game. I give him credit at this point in his career. Normally, a player is not adding stuff to his game, but he's adding stuff to his game, and he was really important tonight, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he's a crafty finisher. He has nice touch. That's like we talked about comparing him to like Mike Scott the other day. Obviously, as like the shit talker is there, as a like catch and shoot guy is there, but like Niang is really, the ball comes easy off his hand, and when it lands on the rim, you feel like it's got a chance to go in. Whereas Mike was kind of just, towards the end of his 6 or 10 year here, like kind of lost any semblance of mid range anything. And he's just like really helpful. He seemed like he's on the court and he's a guy that you trust. You look out there, you're like, he's not going to make a mistake. He was 4 or 5 from 3. Like, he's just a really good shooter. He's turned himself into a really, really good shooter. He was not this guy at Iowa State, and has added that level of, I'm still able to like penetrate and attack off a dribble and make the right pass and be smart and make heady plays while also being like a fucking nightmare jump shooter. Really, really impressive stuff. And he shoots it high, so it's impressive. And he getting into it with Ben was really fun. Like bringing so much like Boston guy energy was. It's nice to have a little bit, because he's from Boston. It's nice to have a little bit of like dickhead Boston guy energy on our side. And the fact that it's compounded with like the fact that he's hitting shots, it makes it very helpful. So I'm a huge Niang guy.
I know I've always been the anti-ref guy. You don't ever want to talk about it, but the flagrant was ridiculous. It wasn't even a common foul. Honestly.
They don't know what their job is. They simply have no sense of it. They have no sense of what their job is. And the roughing the passer penalty in the Eagles Commanders game from a couple weeks ago, like refs just don't fundamentally know what they are supposed to do here. And so they're just flailing around and punishing randomness on a whim. And it's like, what is this helping? Who is this? Who are you doing this for? What are you upholding? It's bullshit. That was funny. And it was funny that it got Simmons to the line to shoot 2 free throws by himself. So I thought that ultimately was worth it. That was the one flagrant foul that I'm fine with. I genuinely, like, I'm not a never call fouls guy, because I do think fouls exist. I would almost never call a flagrant. I think that is where like I am religious about that, and I'm borderline, like I'm a flagrant foul extremist. Like I'm labeling myself that. It is disgusting what they have done and what they continue to do and what the NBA thinks is right. What a joke! Like, grow up.
I suppose you could come up with a scenario in which this were truly a hostile environment with teams that truly didn't like each other, and they were just trying to settle things down. But that is not what was going on here.
Ben went over to him. He shoved him. Niang shoved him back, and they called a flagrant. Insane. DeAnthony Melton.
First of all, hit so many big shots tonight. So many big shots. And I think what is most impressive about the big shots he hit is DeAnthony Melton, like, doesn't really have any bag offensively. Like, he has the ball. He doesn't really know what to do with it. For some reason, they back off him a little bit. Like, they give him a little room on the perimeter. And he is a good shooter. He was really good defensively. I thought tonight, a couple of really big steals, a big block, but he hit so many big shots tonight. And here's a team, by the way, that like without Maxey and Harden has no ball handling whatsoever and no passing whatsoever. So almost everything they do offensively, like, has to be one guy doing something. And Melton came up big doing that tonight. Really big. Really, really big, I thought.
Absolutely. I was going to get to this later in the podcast, but I've been upset about how the Sixers have not used their two-way spots.
Oh, boy.
They put in Michael Foster Jr. or Sr., I can never remember, and Julian Champagny in 2 ways. And Julian Champagny had the worst summer league of all time. CJ just in the chat put the Tim Bontemps report that they are signing Saban Lee.
Who is Saban Lee?
Saban Lee? Come on. He already played in the NBA.
I have no idea who he is. I've never heard of him.
Saban Lee went to. Wait, why am I finding?
I feel like the title for this podcast should be Sixers sign Saban Lee.
Don't. It's not that. But Vanderbilt, point guard.
Okay.
Played. I think he played for the Pistons for a year or two and looked good. And they were like frustrated that he looked better than Killian Hayes, and so they had to kind of like move him out of there. He played on some really bad Vanderbilt teams, but like he's nasty with the ball in his hands. He's a good distributor. I'm excited about a Saban Lee, and he's not too small. That's the thing, is that a lot of the guys I like in college that are like can get into the paint and make shit happen are always like 5'11", and it's like, God, if he can hold up, whatever, you know, Cassius Winston or whatever. Saban Lee is really nice. He's 6'2", and he's got some physicality to him. Like, he's smart. He's a smart player. He should play. He should play like right now. They need him. They need him to be playing. And so I was frustrated that they weren't using two-way spots. Feels like smart teams use their two-way spots, cycle through them, and they just didn't have enough ball handling there, especially if Jaden Springer is just not an option. Saban Lee, very exciting for me. Very
Saban
exciting.
Lee. I forget which player that's actually on the Sixers we were talking about. Melton. Right.
Yeah. He just rules, dude. Like, yes, as an offensive player, he is not a creative ball handler. He's not like getting by people with craftiness, but he's a good straight line driver. He doesn't turn the ball over too much, and he's really worked himself into being an excellent shooter. Like, that was the knock on him coming out of SC, and he really has worked his way. And I just respect guys that get there. And George
He
Niang,
took 11 threes tonight. He took
11 fucking threes tonight. He made 6 of them.
Yeah.
Like, he's awesome. Is he shooting over? What is he shooting from 3 this season? Like 43%. He's doing an incredible job. He's a beautiful defensive guard. Like, anticipation plus physicality plus length. Like, the absolute ideal guy back there. He gets in guys' faces. He doesn't foul too much. He doesn't do stupid shit. Like, I love him, and he bailed them out a ton over the whole season. Really, it feels like he's hit the most like big threes on the team for a guy that came out of college like and wasn't supposed to have that. And I love him. I'm so happy he's on the team. I really like. It's like a dream come true, truly for me. And it's the fact that it's still like working and going well, and he's there doing everything I want him to do. It's a really like unfamiliar experience for me to want this guy so bad, and then he's here, and then he's doing exactly what I thought. Like, what a nice thing.
So, all right, PJ Tucker. Now, PJ Tucker had the second highest. I'm not a big single game plus minus guy, but he had the second highest plus minus on the team. He was plus 12. Somehow
tied with Korkmaz.
What's that?
Tied with Korkmaz.
Oh, tied with Korkmaz. Wow, in 21 minutes, Kork. Look at that.
We'll get to him.
Somehow, PJ Tucker, defensively and energy-wise and rebounding and all that stuff tonight, PJ Tucker was truly a plus on the court tonight.
Absolutely.
There is Clement from Stateside texted me like it looks like there's something wrong with him offensively. Like, I wonder if there's something wrong with a shoulder or something like that, because he's never been like an offensive guy. He's always been a super low usage guy, but he's always been willing offensively, and he almost looks unwilling now. Like it looks like something's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's
physically.
definitely like in his head a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Like he was hitting a ton of those little floaters.
Yep.
Little like shot put type baby hooks, like right on the baseline kind of thing. And he was always been willing to like get those threes up very quickly from the corner, but he airballed one. He's 0 of 6 tonight. He hasn't scored in 4 games.
But a plus tonight.
Absolutely. His defense was incredible. He was excellent on KD. There was a time he switched on Kyrie and took the ball from him. He had 3 steals.
3 steals.
He did great. He did great stuff. But honestly, the biggest thing, and maybe part of this is a Brooklyn problem, but Kevin Durant had 14 shot attempts and 2 free throw attempts. Like, that's inexplicable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is on Brooklyn, but some of it is at least on PJ Tucker for denying him the ball and making it hard on him. And just like really, really great defensive game from PJ Tucker, and hustle plays, energy plays, offensive rebounds, second chances, all that stuff. But if he's airballing corner threes, and he's
I just wonder if there's something physically wrong with him because tonight
he's got to look to shoot more, and he's just not.
Yeah.
Like there's times he's open and he's already like running in the other direction away from the rim to like do a dribble handoff to literally anybody. Like B-ball Paul, he could be doing dribble handoffs too. Like anybody that's there, he's giving the ball to. So like look, like yeah, no one's expecting PJ Tucker to look like Texas PJ Tucker because he's not that guy anymore. But like he's got to be able to be an NBA player on the offensive end.
But I wonder if there's something physically wrong with him because if there isn't,
that's you giving
they're in
him.
trouble.
You don't usually give guys credit like that. You don't usually give guys the benefit of the doubt. It could be the case.
It wasn't coming from me. It was somebody in the building was like, it looks like there's something wrong. That's why. Because he's never. I've watched PJ Tucker a lot. I mean, not a lot, but a lot for a non-Sixer. And he's always shooting corner threes, and now he doesn't even want to do it. And it just doesn't seem like. It seems like something's wrong. It just seems like something's wrong.
I mean, definitely a guy that's got to figure it out. His defense over the last few games has been excellent, and that's like that's what they got him for. That's the bigger thing. That's what's most important. But like, we can't deal with another like confidence thing. We can't deal with another like forgot how to do stuff thing. Like there's too. We're all out. We're fresh out of those cards.
We're only going to talk about it for 2 seconds. Matisse Thybulle was -5 in 3 minutes. But I would argue hit one of the biggest shots of the night, that three-pointer that he hit.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, it was hilarious hearing Stan Van Gundy, who I hate, Stan Van Gundy saying, why did Seth Curry do that on defense? Like, why did he run away from him? I'm like, well, he can't play defense. He's bad at defense. That corner three he hit.
But that's. I think he did it because he's like, oh, there's not enough time the shot clock's gonna expire. Some crafty defenders will do that. Like Melton does that sometimes, where like the shot clock's about to expire or whatever, and I'll run at you to make it harder on you because there's not enough time for you to get this pass off.
It was a big shot.
He misjudged it, and it was a big shot from the corner, and then he proceeded to miss two of the exact same shots wide open. But fine, take it, and then he got hurt, and his ankle seems to still be bothering him for some reason. But yeah, I mean I think that's the horniness for helping again. We're back to how NBA players love it. But Korkmaz,
dude, what a big game from Korkmaz. So it brought back the point Ferk moments for a couple of times. Like, I wish we could have. I lost my optimism with Ferk. I was optimistic for a long time. He had a bad year last year. We found out he was hurt, but then he wasn't good again. Like when we saw him this year, he was an important player tonight because he was a capable offensive player who can dribble, pass, and shoot. He might not be great at any of them, but he can do all three, which made him important tonight.
Hey man, as Mike Scott called him, Ferky from Turkey with the jerky. He's been good when he's been allowed to play this season. He had that one really nice game and then he immediately got hurt. They need his movement shooting. Like they desperately need somebody to like the defense has to account for. Someone that's not just standing still and waiting for something to happen. And I've always loved his cutting ability. It is not something that any Sixers team in the years that we've been doing this podcast has really maximized anybody's cutting ability. But Korkmaz occasionally does it. They would occasionally get to him, and when they have when the ball's in somebody's hands, they can actually make that pass. Like they find him, and he had a couple nice plays tonight. He attacked Kevin Durant on a drive and airballed a layup. That might not have been a great idea, but he has the international game. He's absolutely improved through the international game. He's absolutely improved his ball handling and pressure on the rim, and a guy that can shoot the ball that high, get the shot off that quickly, and also handle and pass. Like, and he's big. He's 6'7", 6'8". Like he's not like he's a valuable player, and he's absolutely a liability on the defensive end. But in the regular season or in a pinch in like different moments or when you can get him on like, I don't know, fucking Patty Mills or something that like you can play him, and they need a guy like that. They need to be able to do that because he is the guy on the team that you look around aside from Maxey, who like doesn't move that much off the ball, mostly because he's usually has the ball in his hands. But like Korkmaz is the guy that's moving around the most. Like, he is willing to do that. He's willing to shoot off movement. He's willing to shoot from like, and I don't love saying this, but like Bellinelli-esque sort of like diagonal ways, like where he's like leaning and fading and getting the shot off quickly. Like, he's good. He needs to play. And he's going to play if he's healthy because they don't have fucking anybody
They don't
else,
have players.
I know there's now Sabin Lee might be getting all those minutes, which I would be excited about also. What a win.
What? What's that?
I'm just saying what a win. I'm excited.
Huge win. Big Barker is our final sponsor of the pod. I love Big Barker because they have a great product and they support us. Those are the only two things I need. Big Barker is a dog bed company. It's not just a normal dog bed, though. And I know you get served ads on Instagram, and I know you're walking through the pet store and you see dog beds, and you're like, what difference does it make? They're going to sleep anyway. Yes, they're going to sleep anyway. But your dog sleeps so much that you want that dog sleeping on a bed that is going to keep him healthier. That's basically it. So Big Barker, engineered by experts to keep your dog healthier by supporting their joints. Most dog beds, you look at them, and they look comfy, right? But they're basically just like a pillow. A Big Barker dog bed is a real mattress. It's a real bed for your dog. BigBarker.com/Ricky. Go to BigBarker.com/Ricky. There you get the Big Barker dog bed. You also get the processed pup patches. You might say Brett. That's my real name.
Whoa.
Spike is my fake name. You might say Spike. That's your fake name. These things about the bed, keeping your dog, I'm so excited. Keeping your dog healthier, that's horseshit. You're just making it up. It's not. Penn Vet, you trust Penn Vet? University of Pennsylvania Vet? They did a study on Big Barker, found improvement in joint function, reduction in pain severity, reduction in joint stiffness. All of this stuff is real. If you have a dog, your one job in your life with that dog is to make that dog's life excellent, happy, healthy. Do it with the Big Barker. Go to BigBarker.com/Ricky. Get the Big Barker with the processed pup patches. There's a 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. A 1-year at-home trial. If you don't like it, your dog doesn't like it, they replace it, and they even pay for the shipping to return it. It is handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds. Is that the whole... Do we have any doc comments on the game?
I mean, Daniel House weirdly didn't play, which I thought was kind of...
Very strange, right?
I thought it was kind of interesting that,
especially with him playing well recently
in this game. Yeah, he's played fine. Yeah, you would have expected that he would have gotten in the game a little bit more, but no. Yeah, I mean, this is Doc's shit. Like, I don't give him credit for this game. I don't give him credit for much of anything anymore. I can imagine him throwing a temper tantrum about how well Paul Reed played. Because then it means we're gonna keep calling for him. This is a Paul Reed victory tour. DeAndre Jordan played over him. I can't. The list of people Doc would rather play, it's unbelievable. He would still go, but credit to him, I guess, for at least leaving Paul Reed in when he was winning them this fucking game. So
I would.
Other than that, it was just like the kind of like Doc Rivers game when undermatched teams, scrappy guys like pulling to a victory. When there's expectations, when there's like, more of a target on their back, it seems like that's the times he come up short.
Do we call Paul Reed Patrick from now on? Is he B-Ball Patrick?
No, he's Paul.
Okay.
Because it rhymes with his given name.
Ball.
Ball Paul.
Hey, CJ, can you throw up, because I do want to talk about Embiid for a minute, but before we do, could you throw up the photo of Mr. Simmons and the relative of mine that happened earlier? So this was on Ben Simmons' Instagram, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. If not, on Ben Simmons' Instagram, there's a picture of Ben Simmons and my father smiling, giving the thumbs up. Well, this worked out fine for both of you. Two dickheads, one picture right here. So the way that it worked, and we had Jack Fritz and Joe Giglio.
Dickheads gathered. Several dickheads
two
gathered.
Dickheads gathered. I love you, Dad. We had Giglio and Fritz explain that when my dad's dog, Jack, passed away, rest in peace, Jack, and he tweeted about it, Ben Simmons replied, sorry for your loss, Howard. And my father has not been able to criticize him since, which I guess I get. But this whole thing, and then the tweets afterwards from my father about how he was like warm and funny and all of those things, just a incredible sellout move. You really showed your cards here, Howard. Just if someone is nice to you, you can no longer criticize them.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, so we haven't talked about Joel Embiid has a sprained foot. It is not the same foot that he broke twice, but it is his foot. He's 275 pounds, 7 feet tall, probably going to be out a couple weeks. I don't like this injury at all, to be quite honest with you.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like it. First of all, it is sort of weird that Maxey, Harden, and Embiid, all foot injuries, all playing tons of minutes.
Anyway, they can get a new foot guy. Is it a massage thing? Is it the court? I'd like for that to not happen.
I'm a little worried about the Embiid foot thing. If I'm being honest, I'm a little worried about it.
No, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Totally. Don't want our best player with a history of foot problems, who's also 7 foot 1,000 and 1 billion pounds of muscle and trolling to have foot issues. That's a lot of trolling. That's, landing on the foundation of those feet. Gonna need those to be okay.
Before we go, I just do have a couple of emails that I would like to get to from listeners. You can send us an email, writes to rickysanchez@gmail.com. Or
I'm so excited about Saban Lee. What a pep in my step. Almost too many good things are happening tonight for me.
There were people saying in the chat that he's not a good shooter.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, he's a good passer. He's good, can knife into the lane. He's a good defender. Going to get a bunch of steals. Capable ball handler for sure. I want to see some. I want to see some Saban Lee minutes. I'm going to say it now. Expect it from me in the future. Get Saban Lee in the game. Let him play a little bit. Can't be doing freaking 8-man rotations. It's November.
It's weird
Saban
that
Lee's
House
gotta play.
didn't play. I wonder if he had sex with someone.
He might have had sex with someone, illegal sex. It's a very the Brandon Davies rule still applies to the Sixers. Can't be screwing it. He played 9 minutes. He just didn't do much in it.
Writes to rickysanchez@gmail.com or 833lickface. This comes from Joe P. How much responsibility does Brett Brown deserve for Ben Simmons' lack of mental and physical development? I would say actually very little.
Yeah, none.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame Doc for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like these guys, they have 1 million coaches and 1 million paid, whatever, trainers and siblings and professionals that they can hire, and ultimately that's not going to do much. No. I don't give Brett. I think if guys want to be coached and want to be pushed, then yes, you can give them credit. But for somebody that didn't seem to want that, really, you would think that Brett could have gotten through to him a little bit more because of the connection they have from.
But maybe that made it harder.
But maybe it was harder.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it was on Ben to improve, and he didn't.
And then final email comes from one Sticky Wizard. Sticky Wizard has 2 comments/questions. Howdy, despite me being an OKC fan, I've listened to every pod for the last 5 years. Love the show.
Wow.
Sorry, but these are 2 Sixers related stories. 1, Thibault hates Simmons. Close friend lives near a taco spot in Fishtown. The other week he spots Matisse and goes up to him to show him his shirt he's wearing that simply has Ben Simmons 3-point percentage 14.3 on it. Simmons almost spit out his drink laughing and asked my friend to take a picture to send it to, quote, some people. That was definitely Embiid, right? He then agreed to walk a block after his lunch to my friend's place to take a picture in front of his Sixers mural he has in his apartment. Very nice guy.
Wow, Matisse going to people's apartments. He should not
Tony
be doing that.
Roden-esque. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then number 2 from Sticky Wizard. This is a little concerning from one B-Ball Paul. Quote, B-Ball Paul afraid of dog shit? I have another close friend that lives in the same apartment complex as B-Ball. They said they've seen him 15 to 30 times taking his dog out over the past year, and he has never cleaned up after his pet.
Great.
We call him B-Ball Paul because that's what he does, plays basketball. Do we also need to call him doesn't pick up dog shit Paul?
No. Yeah, I mean, he's not dog shit Paul. That's distinctly not his name.
B-Ball Paul, let me send you a message. I love you, buddy. You gotta pick up after your dog.
No, he's allowed. He's got customer service to do for his hoodies. I'm with B-Ball here.
We did get, by the way, we talked about him selling his hoodies on Twitter last pod. We had several of our listeners DM B-Ball Paul and send us screenshots. Apparently, within 48 hours, B-Ball Paul is sending tracking numbers via DM.
Amazing.
He is taking orders via Cash App.
Absolutely great. It's good to have an interest. It's good to have some other hobbies on the side. You know, Tobias reads. B-Ball Paul is doing excellent customer service.
What a win!
What a win.
Oh, I'm so glad. Man, this is the perfect result. This, by the way, Zoe had the tweet of the night after Ben missed both free throws. Thanks for the free lunch, dickhead.
Dickhead always plays.
Dickhead is such a good one. I'm just, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I can't get over this Sixers team finally winning like a ton of hustle play categories. What a nice thing.
Gotta give guys like B-Ball Paul and hasn't scored a point in 4 games, PJ Tucker, a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm. That's nice, man. That's a nice one.
You got anything else before we leave? What a win. What a
Feeling
win.
Good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, what are you thankful for?
B-Ball Paul.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a nice win. And, you know, there's, not to make it serious or anything, but the shooting in Colorado Springs was very upsetting and sad. And, you know, hold on to your people and don't bully trans people. And B-Ball Paul. Those are my overarching thoughts about life.
Wow, you're really tying together.
Those are all related, I think. Be yourself and I can do it. Be yourself. Don't let other people tell you to be, and don't let Doc Rivers not play you. It's all rounded right into one.
Yes.
I'm thankful for that working out perfectly. What a win.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I am thankful for my friends, my family, everybody associated with this pod, everyone who listens. Love you all. Be nice to everybody over the next couple of days. Show love. You only live once. B-Ball Paul. PJ Tucker didn't score, but he was still positive. D'Anthony Melton hit big shots. Shake Milton just needs the ball. Ben Simmons is a dickhead.
A good night.
Yeah. God bless us, everyone. We will talk to you this weekend. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah. You? No, lick face.